All right, so YouTube is live. Hi. Let's get Facebook up. And Facebook up. All right. So YouTube, you are seeing too much of my ugly mess over here. So hold on, guys. I'm fixing. All right. Well, here's what it is. Yeah. All right. So let me get my lights. So it's gray and rainy here. I hope it's not gray and rainy where you are. But that sort of just goes with the theme this morning. So hello over on YouTube and hi, whoever's on Facebook. It's really weird. I don't know. I don't see. It usually pops up and says so-and-so is watching or whatever. So it's not saying that to me, but I know somebody's there, or at least it says somebody's there. All right. Hey, Sandy, I knew you'd show up. So when I sent out my message, my email last night, I didn't really know what I was doing. This week is like last week, I don't know why, has been a little bit hectic. So it took me a minute to sort of ground myself again and figure out where we're going to go today. So I don't know about you guys, but I have to get up in the dark. I have to drive to work in the dark, and it's like the worst for me. Hate it. So thankfully, anyway, the time changes tonight, but that just means it's going to be darker really early in the evening, which at least I can get out of bed in the morning. So you have to have it, right? That's the way it is. But Diwali, I don't know if you noticed these things or not, but that was just Thursday, I think it was, 2 days ago. And that's all about light, right? So when it's dark, you have to create your own light. So that's going to be our focus today. And we are going to open the chest, right, to give us a little bit of energy here. But the light chakra, right, is actually your solar plexus. So we're going to be twisting. We're definitely going to be back bending. We're going to be working our core. And a little bit of everything else, of course. So if you were looking for forward folds, there will be some of those, of course. And if you need to modify anything, if a back bend isn't for you today, then skip that piece or do something else, or just take a very light, easy version of that. So it's always options, and you are at home, so you're not distracting anyone by doing your own thing for sure. So if you do feel a little bit intimidated sometimes in classes to kind of go off and do your own thing, understandable, but here no one sees you. But wherever you are, definitely make sure you're listening to your body. It is the thing, right? So just doing it because I tell you to do it is not always the best thing. So who else is here this morning? Are you drinking? And Therese, yay. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and get going. Remember, again, this is always your practice. I got to back up a little bit. Let's see if I can adjust my camera on that. But or no. Anyway. All right, you guys. I'm still cutting off my head on YouTube. Figure that out. Give me one quick second. So find your way to the top of your mat. And we are going to start standing. Sorry if I a little bit seasick there. Better. All right. So then find your feet. Round down into the floor. Make your legs do a little bit of work here. And then the lower belly, I talk a lot about the lower belly, even though we're going to kind of focus on that upper belly solar plexus area today. We want to lift the pelvic floor, pull the lower belly in and up, tall through the sides, relax through your shoulders. Go ahead and close your eyes. focusing on your breath. Let's gently let the breath expand. And as it does, focusing on the upper belly, let it rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. We'll definitely work those areas a little bit later, but the work here is to just allow the expansion and the natural contraction. So we're not shoving the air out with the upper abdominals. We're just letting it happen. And for just a moment, allow the breath to expand as big as it can on the inhales. And emptying out on your exhale. So this might require a little bit of work in the upper belly, but see how it feels for you. We're going to take a couple more of those great big enormous breaths. And then find something in between that giant big breath and your natural breath. And if you liked Ujjayi breath, when you could hear it in the back of your throat kind of idea that we did last week, you can absolutely use that here as well. With the next inhale, we're going to take the arms, we're going to stretch them up toward the ceiling, and then exhale as we come back down again. Let's do it again, inhaling up. Exhaling back down. One more time like that. On an inhale, come back to the top. Interlacing your fingers here, you can rotate the palms toward the ceiling. If you like exhales, you tip yourself left. Back to center on an inhale. And exhale over to the right. Rooted and even into the feet, we're just going to slide side to side like that. So we want to keep the shoulder back so that we're really keeping the front of the body open. You can feel a nice stretch in the side ribs. So for the last set, we really want to keep the lower belly engaged here. And as we tip over to the left, see if you can draw your right shoulder back in, almost as if you're looking up at the ceiling. Your chest is looking up at the ceiling. And then switching sides. When you are back to center, just go ahead and release your hands. And we're going to bring the hands to rest on the thighs. Lean if you must lean, of course. Exhale, bring yourself into a half fold. And then a bend into the knees so we can inhale and roll back up again. Coming in and out like that. Connected to your breath, nice and full. Let's take one more flow. And then when you're through with that, Go ahead and come back over into the half fold. So kind of in the middle, leaning on the legs if you feel like you need to be leaning on the legs. Shoulders are back and the belly is working. Still breathing into the upper belly. And very gradually allow yourself to move a little bit deeper until you find your full fold. So that might not be too far from the half fold this early, but just find where it is. Keeping the shoulders back, allow the hands to move toward the mat. And from here, we're going to step back into down dog. So take your time getting there, moving through whatever positions your body needs from you, planting your hands like we planted our feet, and then just shifting and wiggling around as you make your way into that position. So let's settle in, pressing down into the hands. Get that energy here that we talked about last week. So press down into the four corners of the hands and imagine pulling them together up underneath. So that it's a little bit extra work, maybe, but it's very energizing, right? Sinking through the heels, let your head just hang between your arms. And then with the breath here on an inhale, shift forward, come to plank. Exhale, take yourself back to your down dog. So keep everything nice and active. The lower belly supporting the back. The upper belly is getting some work here as well, lifting the head in line with the spine, pressing through the heels so that the legs stay really active as well. Let's go forward and back one more time. Holding here, and then we're going to step the right foot forward, coming into lunge. So bring your toes to your fingers. Let's go ahead and drop that back knee for right now. And then let's take the right leg straight. Nice and gentle here. And you decide how deep to go right away, right? Maybe the leg isn't quite straight. If you want to flex your foot or just let it relax a little bit, we don't want it to flop, right? But you don't necessarily have to firm it up either. Yeah. Thinking about what your back is doing. So drop the shoulders away from the ears, pull them together on your back just slightly so that the front of the body stays open even though you're coming forward. We're going to bend into the knee again and let the hips come low. Imagine sweeping your legs toward each other up underneath the body, feeling the hips kind of square up a little bit. Extend out the crown of your head, keeping your chest open. And then bring the right hand to the hip and add in a little twist here. So rotating the belly around. Imagine rotating your right side ribs toward the ceiling, maybe taking your shoulder back even a bit. Nice, easy breaths. And then we're going to release the twist. Go ahead and take your legs straight again. And add something that makes it a bit more of a challenge. So maybe this time you do flex the foot back very actively, right? Maybe it's just that the leg is finally straight. Maybe it's that your spine is a little bit more aligned. Maybe it makes a difference in how your hamstrings feel, oddly enough. Bend back into the knee again. Sinking in through the hips, sweeping the legs toward each other. Let's bring the right hand to the inside of the foot this time and the left hand to the hip, rotating around here. So you have a little bit of leverage with the arm against the leg. Keep them hugging toward each other. Rotating the belly, the side ribs, the shoulder, maybe looking toward the ceiling unless that's a little bit unstable for you. And then we're going to release that. and make our way back to down dog. Just give yourself a minute to wiggle and stretch and maybe realign a little bit. And then we're going to switch sides, bringing the left foot forward, dropping the right knee, adjusting so that the knee and ankle are stacked. The knee is stacked over the ankle. Right? And then let's take the left leg straight. Again, just starting gentle and easy. Bend back into the knee, allowing the hips to descend without getting all off, right? Bring the left hand to the hip and let's rotate around. One more breath. We'll release the twist, take the leg straight again, and see about finding that little bit deeper stretch. Bending back into the knee then. Sinking maybe a little bit lower into the hips if that's you here. And then the left hand to the inside of the foot. Again, using the arm and leg for stability. Bringing the right hand to the hip and rotating away from the thigh. Working to keep the lower body really stable. So if you do feel yourself shifting or maybe a little off balance, right? Think pulling the legs toward each other underneath to help stabilize, square the hips. And then we're going to release that twist. Make your way back to down dog again. Wiggling and stretching. So here, go ahead and bend your right knee as much as you need. We're going to take the left hand and reach for the outside of the right leg. So maybe you're finding your thigh, maybe you got down to your calf. If you can grab your ankle, grab your ankle. And then see about taking your leg a little straighter. Getting kind of pulled up and under. Releasing the twist. And then the same idea on the second side here. So allow your left knee to bend. It brings the leg a little closer, makes it easier to reach. Taking the right hand, finding the outside of the leg wherever you can. See about taking the leg straighter, finding a little bit deeper twist. And then releasing that side. We'll drop down to the knees and sit back into a child's pose. Back to down dog. Let's walk the feet to the hands, come to standing fold. And this time here, allow the feet to be a little bit wider than normal. Toes are still going to point forward. We still want to be even in the feet here. And then take your hands and walk them over to the right. So for a moment, if one knee bends more or you feel the body weight shift here, allow that to happen. Don't worry about it. You can even be a little bit more relaxed through your shoulders. Let your head have an idea. Let's come back through the middle. Do the same thing on the second side. And then come on back to center again. So opening the feet, take a wider stance. It doesn't have to be crazy wide. But you do want to be all on or all off of your mat, right? So that the foot can be even. And now press down into the four corners and don't let the weight shift. Take your hands over to the right hand. So maybe you find a deeper stretch and maybe you don't because you're working to keep the lower body stable. Back to center again. Over to the left, same idea. Don't worry about where the hands go. And then back to the middle again. Let's open the feet one step wider. And again, stay focused on keeping the four corners even into the mat. Here, we're going to take the hands to the floor. So if you need to bend your knees, definitely bend your knees. Take the right hand in the middle and bring your left hand to your hip. So the left hand's job is to keep the hips from shifting over to the left. Let's begin to rotate the belly to the left. Imagine turning your side ribs toward the ceiling and maybe taking your shoulder back. Extend out the crown of your head. You can use the floor a little bit more or less. So if you press down into the floor and imagine sweeping it right, you might get a little bit bigger twist. Taking one more breath. And then release the twist. And we'll go to the second side. So left hand in the middle and the right hand to the hip, rotating around. Take your time, listen to your body, and don't worry about the depth, right, of the pose. Think about the sensation. One more breath here. And then we're going to release. So let's walk the feet back in. Bringing them up under the hips, toes pointing forward, rounding down into the floor. Let's bend into the knees here, and on an inhale, we're going to roll the spine all the way back up to standing again. All right, so we're ready, right? We're going to get some sun salutes in here, even though there's no sun yet. Maybe there is where you are. So let's move with the breath. On an inhale, stretch the arms toward the ceiling, and then exhale, take them over into a fold. Halfway up on an inhale. Exhale as you step back to your plank. Dropping down, knees if you'd like, knees, everything to the floor. Nice little baby roll into Cobra. And then release, up and back, down dog. On the inhale, step forward into fold again. Next inhale, halfway up. Exhaling over. Come all the way up, reaching for the ceiling. Exhale to release it. Again, like that. Inhaling as you come up. Take it to fold. Inhaling to monkey. And back to your plank. Down to the belly. Roll into a cobra. We're going to work a little deeper into these later, so you can keep them soft for now. Back to down dog. Inhaling forward and forward. Halfway up into that monkey position again. And then back over. Reach it for the ceiling. And exhale to release. So let's add on with the next one here. On an inhale, tuck your tailbone, pull your shoulders together on your back and reach behind you a bit. And then exhale into your fold. Halfway up. Back for plank. Exhaling down. Into Cobra. Back to down dog. And on an inhale, step the right foot forward for lunge. Toes to fingers, back knee or heel to the mat, you decide, and come all the way up, reaching toward the ceiling. Exhale as you come back down again and step back to down dog. Shift into plank. Drop down to the belly. Roll into Cobra. and back, down dog. Left foot comes forward. Heel or knee to the mat back there and lift. Back down again, exhale, and into down dog. Shifting into plank. Exhaling to the belly. Roll for cobra. And then back to your down dog again. So you can hold down dog or you can drop into child's pose. If you need a bigger break, take a bigger break. If you're in down dog, keep it active. Take one more breath where you are. Lift into down dog if you did drop down. And then with the inhale, step forward into the fold again. Come halfway up, monkey. Exhale back over. And then all the way up, tucking the tailbone as you reach back. And exhale, release. One more, yeah. So let's take a nice big step back with the right foot. Working into warrior two here. Left toes point forward, right toes tucked in a little bit. Go ahead and bend into the knee and look for your big toe. So you're stacking your knee and ankle again. Even on the feet, extending the arms. Nice big breaths. Lower belly still working. Can you feel the rise and fall of the upper belly? Let's take the left leg straight. Reaching forward over that leg, creating space in this left side. Let the left hand fall and the right hand lift. So you might be leaning on the leg. You could be leaning on a block, of course, right? Or the body is doing the work and the arm is just sort of relaxing toward the floor. Keeping the side body open, we want the right shoulder back. So kind of stacking on top of the left. And the hips in line with the shoulders, not sticking back. Releasing the hands, let's come over to a lunge here, and we're going to come up on the back toes. So you can leave the stance wide if you're comfortable with that. You can hop in a little bit or maybe even enough so that the right foot is flat to the floor, or you can even drop the knee. We're going to take the left leg straight again. So deeper version of where we were earlier. Sweep the legs toward each other so your hips stay really square. And extend out the crown of your head here. Bring the left hand to the hip, and we're going to rotate around into that twist. So if you're feeling less than stable with the lower body, making those adjustments, and then adding in your twist. Releasing the twist here. Let's step back to down dog. From here, shift forward to plank. And then drop on down to your knees. We're going to take the left foot over to the left side of the mat. Leave that knee on the floor. Opening the body to the right so that we're in a side plank, right? A modified side plank. Hand, knee, right toes in alignment, right? Right hand can be at your hip for now. So imagine stacking the shoulders, stacking the hips. And then how about lifting the right foot away from the floor here? We're going to bend the right knee and see about the right hand reaching back and finding the foot, maybe. So whether it finds it or not, just kind of look for it. If it's there, lovely. You can press the foot into the hand to open the shoulder a little bit more. And not overly, but imagine drawing your right shoulder back a little bit so you're rotating toward the ceiling just a little. We're going to release that side nice and easy. Bring it back into kneeling plank. And drop on down to a child's pose. Nice and easy. Sitting the hips back. and allowing the body to sort of, or the brain, to sort of soak in what the body just did. Let's lift back to our down dog. Stepping the feet forward, let's come back to our standing fold. Bending into the knees again here. Inhale, rolling up. And we will work our second side. So that nice big step back with the left foot. And again here, taking a moment to align your feet. Feeling good about that as we stretch the arms out, bend into the knee, warrior two. Allow yourself to wiggle and adjust as much as you need. We'll take the right leg straight, reaching forward over the toes and shifting into our triangle. Let's rotate around, come to lunge. And then adjusting the feet if you need to adjust the feet here. When you're feeling stable enough, take the right leg straight. And then when you're ready for it, adding in the twist. Right hand coming to the hip and rotating. Nice big breaths. Releasing the twist again. Let's make our way back to down dog. Shift forward into plank. And then drop on down to the knees. Take the right foot this time over to the right, opening the body to the left. So right hand, right knee, left toes, all in this alignment here. The shoulders are stacked, the hips are stacked. With the left hand on the hip, and if that's where you want to hang. Making sure the right hand is happy, of course, nice and even on the four corners. We're going to lift the left foot, bend at the knee, and see if the left hand can find the left foot. And then playing with maybe just kicking the foot into the hand, feeling your quad, drawing the shoulder back or opening toward the ceiling a little bit more. See where your body wants to stretch this morning. Release that. Make your way back to kneeling plank. Nice and easy again here. Go ahead and sit back into child's pose. Back to down dog. Let's walk the feet forward into standing fold again. So last time here, bend into the knees. We're going to roll up through the spine again. Come back to your standing position. All right. So we have one more standing pose. We are going to take our balance here. So if you need to be near a wall, that's fine. If you want to be off your mat, totally fine as well. So to start, shift all the weight over into the right foot. We're going to bend the left knee. And then just like we did on our hands and knees, see about taking that hand and finding your foot. So it's easier to grab if you sort of let the leg out. But then once you've found it, see if you can then make your thighs parallel, pointing the knee at the floor. Pressing the foot into the hands lets the shoulder draw back a little bit. Maybe kicking back even a little bit so that instead of the left thigh being in front, maybe it moves back a little bit. So the right hand can extend toward the ceiling if you like. We want to keep the shoulders down and back and the chest open and lifted, stretching the front of the body. And then maybe hinging forward a little bit. So see if you can feel a little bit of the back bend even as you come forward into this hinge of the right hip. Let's take another big breath. We're going to hinge back up again. And then release the left foot. Moving to the second side, same idea, whether it ends up looking like that or not. Weight left, bending the right knee, and then the right hand finds the foot. So again, if you have to sort of wiggle and adjust to find it, no problem, but then find your center again. Keeping the chest and shoulders open and square, maybe reaching the left hand. Kick the foot into the hand for a little bit more action there. Make sure your belly is working, your lower belly is engaged, your upper belly is soft with the breath. And if you want to come forward, you can add that. One more breath. And then we'll hinge back up again and release it. So feet up underneath the hip bones. Let's inhale as we stretch to the ceiling. And nice and easy here, take yourself over into a fold. Let yourself hang again here for a moment. Taking the fingertips to the floor just in front of the feet. You can be a little bit more, a little bit less, but just in front of her. So we're going to take the right hand kind of in the middle. So it's underneath your face. Bend your right knee as much as you want. If you have to have both legs bent, that's fine, but bend the right leg more. Sweep the left arm toward the ceiling. So opening up, stacking the shoulders, making sure your belly's working. Can you take your right leg straight? And if the left leg is straight, we want the right leg to be straight too. If it's bent a little bit, see if you can have them bent evenly. Breathe. And then release. Same idea, second side. Let the left knee bend more. Left hand is in the middle. We're sweeping the right arm up. Finding the twist. And then seeing if we can keep the twist as we take the left leg straight, or straighter. Releasing that twist. From here, stepping back to down dog. And then again for a moment, drop on down to child pose. From our child's pose this time, let's go ahead and slide forward, coming out onto the belly. So if you love Cobra, you are welcome to keep it to Cobra, right? Keep it a little bit less intense, maybe not worry about lifting so high. But maybe we're going to work a little harder than that. Maybe. Right, listen to your body. Taking the hands next to the sides of the body. We want to keep the elbows in, and we want to keep the shoulders where they are on the back. Right? Sometimes we just start to use the arm bones, and everything gets just wrong, so to speak. Four corners of the hands even into the mat. Lower belly is engaged here. We're going to start off like we do in Cobra. So roll your shoulders up, together, down, and back. So the chest curls away from the floor. It can stay here. Or you can just add your arms a little bit in your Cobra by pulling, finding some space, and maybe pressing a bit into the hands so you lift a little higher. So since it took us so long to get there, let's go ahead and come down and rest for just a moment. And then we're going to add on to all of that if you're adding on. Remember, it's your choice. So roll into your Cobra using the arms a little or not, keeping the elbows in and the shoulders down and back. Maybe press into the arms and take them almost straight. Right? So if you lock your elbows, the work is gone and the shoulders fall forward and then they may fall up by your ears. We want to keep the elbows bent so the shoulders stay where they are on the back. Use your belly, press into your feet, and see about lifting your thighs away from the floor. So this should feel like a lot of work. Head's in line with the spine. We're going to take one more breath in whatever variation you're in, and then drop on back down. So taking the hands, make a little pillow over your head here. Turn your toes toward each other, and then just softly rock side to side on your hips. Coming to a center. Hands next to the side ribs, elbows in. Lift your belly away from the floor, even if it doesn't actually leave the mat. Press up, kneeling plank, and gently back to child's pose. Let's come to sit up on the heels. And we're going to bring the legs around front. So taking the legs long to begin anyway. Hip bone distance apart, your toes are pointing up toward the ceiling. Press out as if you are pressing down into the floor. So you're even on the pelvis, your belly is working here, lower belly. We're going to stretch the arms up and come forward into a fold. And as you come forward, keep the front of your body open. So if you feel like you're rounding and collapsing and your chin just got closer to your belly button, extend. Space and length in the front of the body as well as the back. One more nice big breath. And then inhale as you come back up again. Releasing the arms. Let's take the feet flat to the floor. I'm going to turn sideways a little bit so you can see what's going on better. So the feet are flat, roughly a 90-degree bend in the knee, roughly. Hands are behind the hips, about a handprint or so. Fingers point toward the body unless that's too much for your shoulders. We want the four corners of the hands to be even in the mat. So if that requires them to be a little turned out, then that's where you are. But keeping the hands even, pulling the shoulders together on the back, lift your chest, press down into your feet, and imagine sweeping your feet toward your heels to lift your hips. Maybe in line with your shoulders and hips, maybe not so much. Keep the idea of pulling toward the body rather than pressing away. We're going to release that side, that version. And if that was a ton of work, maybe that's where you want to stay. But give this a go. Take your legs almost straight. Not quite, but almost. The hands do exactly what the hands were doing before. The shoulders do what they were doing. So we pull them together. We lift the chest toward the ceiling. Pulling the heels toward the hips here, we lift the hips. So you don't have to lift as high, but I don't know if that makes it any easier. Shoulders together on the back. Chest is lifting. The feet maybe go flat to the floor here. One more big breath. And then release it. We're going to do that same action one more time, and you choose whether your legs are straight or your knees are bent. We're going to go one more time. Unless you're just completely done with it, then you can rest. So wherever you are, shoulders together on the back, the chest lifts, the feet pull toward the hips, lifting the hips. And then we're going to release it. So the feet can be flat or the legs can be straight. Either one is fine. We're going to turn the fingers around to point behind the body. Or away from the body, I guess, right? And then keeping the hands roughly shoulder width apart back there, start to walk them back. Watch that the elbows have a little bit of a bend in them. If you're a hyperextender here, you can go crazy. Right? The shoulders stay together on the back. And we just want to feel a nice stretch across the chest, the fronts of the arms, the shoulders, of course. And then lock them back in. Roll around a little bit here, maybe. I'm going to turn again. We're going to go ahead and roll on back. So hang on to your hamstrings. Roll on down. Make sure your head doesn't hit forward. Knees into the chest. Just go ahead and rock a little bit. Are you doing all right? And then bring the feet flat to the floor. Take a second to align your spine, making sure you feel even across your shoulders and hips. You've got the neutral curves of the spine here. And then let's take the right leg straight up toward the ceiling. So if you have a strap and you want to use a strap, you can use around the ball of your foot. The idea is to keep the shoulders back, like when you were laying down, right? And reach behind the right leg. So if a strap works better, totally use it. With the breath here, as you exhale, pull the right leg in toward your chest a little. And then inhale and let it go again. And as you come in and out, check in that the spine is staying in this neutral position as much as possible. And if it's not, just notice first, and then see if maybe you can adjust as you go. So the first thing is to obviously be aware whether it is or not. Sometimes we don't even know. You can absolutely leave the left knee bent as it is, or you can take the left leg straight. And imagine standing on the left leg. So you're flexing your foot, you're pressing through the big toe side of your foot as the right leg comes in and out. And maybe the right leg doesn't quite come as far as it did before. And that's just because your spine is a little bit more neutral, probably with the leg extended. Probably. So we're going to go once more like that, in and out. And then find the middle place, right? So there's a little bit of stretch in your right leg, but it's not as intense as it could possibly be. Take the left arm out and ground it to the floor. I like my palm down here, just helps sort of ground. Support the outside of your right leg with your right hand and let it start to fall out to the right. So we want to keep the heel in line with the hip. We don't want it sagging toward the foot. And don't worry about it coming to the floor. Keep the left hip on the mat. So your spine is just like it was, or your backside really, it's just like it was with the foot in the middle. If you want a little bit more inner hip stretch here in your right hip, flex your right foot. And imagine rotating your heel toward the ceiling and your toes toward the floor. Let's come back to center and release the right leg. And let it relax for a second here. For me, my right leg feels longer than my left leg right now. So let's fix that. Bring both feet flat to the floor again. Take a second to check in, find the neutral curves in your spine, and then take the left leg up. So again here, keeping the shoulders back, keeping the neutral curves, using your strap or just interlacing your fingers behind the leg here, and then that little bit of in and out. Keep that idea and see about taking your right leg straight. So like you're standing on it straight. Thinking about the spine being neutral on the mat. And then let's find the middle place for the left leg, wherever that might be. Extend your right arm out to the right, support the outside of your left leg with your hand, and let it start to fall left. And remember, don't worry about it hitting the floor. Worry about keep your right hip on the floor. If then you want more, flex your left foot firm. Rotate the toes toward the floor and heel toward the ceiling-ish. In your head anyway. And then we're going to bring it back to center. Releasing the left leg down by the right. And now again, opposing match. Taking a second here. And then bringing the feet flat to the floor. And the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice, easy little rock here. And of course, this last twist is always optional, any variation, of course, not optional, period, but just any variation you want. Extending the arms open into a T position here. We're going to drop the legs over to the right. So you can simply drop them to the right. You can keep them closer to the chest. You can shift your hips first or cross your legs. Any little variation you like. Working more or less. Making your way back to center. And then same variation to your second side, whatever that might be. Another nice deep breath. And gently making your way back to center, hugging the knees in, rocking, and then squeezing. Pull the forehead toward the knees, give yourself a big hug. Releasing out into a full body stretch, get extra long. And then release that stretch. Bringing the body to a comfortable position for Shavasana. So whatever that's going to be today. And I've got a little guided meditation for you today. So that might be a factor in how you want to sit, so to speak. But wherever it is, allow the body to be comfortable. Releasing the muscles. Focusing back on the breath again. Release control of the breath. And with each inhale, begin to draw warm light to the body. So we start through the nose. Maybe the next inhalation brings it down into the throat. Down in toward the lungs. And the breath gets warmer and brighter. Each breath getting warmer and brighter, maybe draws down toward your belly, or that solar plexus where the light resides. Maybe through the abdomen, getting warmer and brighter. Down through the pelvis. Across the shoulders, down through the arms. Getting warmer and brighter. Down into your legs, all the way down to your toes. And the light gets so bright that it doesn't stay within the confines of your body. It begins to expand outside. Becoming so bright that it would light up a room. Continue feeding that warm, bright light. And taking just a few more minutes like this to enjoy, relax, restore. Allowing the light to soften, drawing back into the body. Residing in your solar plexus. Allow the body to move and stretch. When you're ready, taking the feet flat to the floor. Keeping that inward focus as you slowly bring yourself back to seated. Sitting well. Drawing the palms to touch. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. So good thing the light is in here because it isn't up there. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember, that's accessible to you all the time. 24/7 is there for you. So even when it's gray or dark outside, when you want to be out and going, it's always here. So have a great weekend, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Hopefully I will see you before, but if I don't, catch you here next week. Visit the website if you're so inclined to look for something else or something more. And I will see you next time. Bye.